in New York about these drone sightings. So last night I was on the beach in Island State Park in Ocean County with the sheriff. He has been working it every single night. He's got his own tethered drones chronicling. One of his officers 2 nights ago saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there. So we thought maybe they'll replicate it. They didn't, but we thought it was a possibility. Then last night we had a number of other people there, including a commanding officer from the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water, followed right behind them. And I said, what's the rules of engagement? I mean, you do it if you're fighting against a narco trafficker or something. And they said, we don't know, we don't have any.
Last constituent saw one of these drones hovering over the Verrazano Bridge, which connects Staten Island and Brooklyn. And on one side of that, you have the Coast Guard base at Fort Wadsworth. And on the other side of that, we have an Army base in Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn. And so it is very concerning that they're choosing to fly these things over, as Phil Murphy said, sensitive infrastructure or military installations. And we deserve and demand answers. And we would expect our government agencies to have those answers for elected officials.
Mysterious drones. And tonight, there's a major push to get more information out of state and federal officials. Local leaders tell our Nick Calloway they still don't believe the drones are a threat.
We're over Lake Hopatcong, and we've got a drone flying over. Right?
Residents are still spotting those hovering objects circling the skies up and down the state of New Jersey.
And another one over here.
State and federal officials insist there is no known threat to the public at this time.
So I want to talk about the drones real quick. Haven't been on in a while, so I've been watching and just waiting to comment on these drones. Not that anybody's listening, but other than the government. But just watching people's reaction to the drones. Now these so-called mysterious drones. Now, I think common sense tells you at this point that they're obviously part of a government program, right? Stand by. Sorry. So I think common sense would tell anybody that obviously when you got 50 to 100 drones flying over military bases, flying over police stations, flying over Donald Trump's golf course, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that obviously they are a part of a government operation, right? They're not China, it's not Russia, it's not China. Common sense tells you that, right? That this is obviously part of a government operation. And, think about it. They're saying, so they're making comments like, well, we know that they're not a threat, okay? But we don't know what they are. So, wait a minute. You know what, you don't know, you see video of them, you see there's 50, 20, it could be 100 drones flying all around, all over Coast Guard installations, Donald Trump's, the president's house, one of the president's homes or something, golf course, Army bases, Coast Guard stations, and you don't know what they are, but you do know for a fact, beyond any reasonable doubt, that they are not a threat. Okay, that doesn't make sense, that you would say that, except for the fact that you actually know what this is about, right? And so you know that they're not a threat. The question is, what is a threat? So obviously, those drones may not be a threat, but the drones are there in reaction to a threat. All right, let me say that again. The drones themselves, he's right, are not a threat, but the drones are there in reaction to a threat. Now the question is that, what is that threat? And so they obviously don't want to tell you what they are reacting to. And whatever it is, unless you're stupid, you know that whatever it is something that they don't want to talk about. You see? So basically, they're flying these obviously military drones, running some kind of, this operation that's ongoing, day by day by day by day by day. They're not stopping. They know that you can see them and they can see you, right? They know that the police can see them, the FBI knows they're there, the military knows they're there, the governor, the mayor, the chief of police, etc. Everybody knows they're there, everybody sees them. And they say, well, we don't know what they are, but they're not a threat. Doesn't make sense. So let's make it make sense, right? Obviously, they know why. Those drones belong to the U.S. government agencies, right? And they are in preparation or reacting to a threat. They're not a threat, obviously, or they would attack you, right? They would do drone strikes on you, some of these areas that they were in. You see, the Chinese, obviously, that's a provocation for Chinese or Russians or whoever to run military operations over cities, et cetera, right? So we know it's not them. And so we can rule out foreign governments. Now, the question would be, why is your government, why is the U.S. government running these open, you could say covert, but it's like an open covert operation of all the, of dozens, if not hundreds of drones over U.S. cities and states on the East Coast, and looks like in other areas as well. Why would they be doing that? Well, it's only one reason why they're doing that. Right? It's only one reason why. Why would they be doing that in clear view of the sheeple and everyone else, right? Why would they be doing that? Knowing what your reaction is going to be. Right? And then tell you, well, it's nothing to see here. It's only one reason they're doing that. Obviously, something is taking place or about to take place that they are in preparation for. And whatever it is, it's big. You see? And so that's, if you just by just a basic common sense analysis, you know that something big is about to happen. Now, do you say, well, what is it? It would have, the only thing that makes sense is probably war in mainland U.S., right? It's probably, they're expecting, obviously, strikes on certain areas. So, this, I guess the drone situation is part of the response to what will be going on. The first, I guess, some type of first level response to I guess this impending I don't want to call it Armageddon, but or whatever, but I'll just say impending conflict or whatever, right? I'm not gonna be dramatic, and it's not aliens or anything like that. More than likely, it would be the Russians and Chinese, etc. And their allies, in preparation for attacking the United States. So, I guess it makes sense to think that they would be, this drone operation that they're running is part of the preparations for a imminent, attack of some sort by enemy forces. Because you ask yourself, what else would it be? You see? You could get, you got these weirdos talking about, hey, UFO, blah, blah, but it's not UFOs. It has nothing to do with aliens. Right? Now, I will tell you something that's, if you want to get into that kind of thing, there is something I can tell you. Now, if you follow my channel and you look on the channel, there is a video of a dream, a precognitive dream I had a long time ago. Now you say, well, what is so important about New Jersey, New York, etc., that area where all those drones are? Well, there's a base under New Jersey, and I've covered this in one of my precognitive dreams that I had about, I don't know, 13 years ago. I had a dream, and it's on this channel, and under in Cape May, New Jersey, right? And so, because there's a base there, under there, I'm assuming, based on my knowledge of that base being there through this dream that I had, that has something to do with the huge drone operation that's going on, and also with the impending, I would say, fighting that's going to take place in that area. Because I'm assuming that the Russians, different groups, they know about these places, right? And so they know like where these, underground bases are. So some of these areas would be probably first to be, I guess, attacked. And so more than likely that base in New Jersey runs all the way up from New York down to DC. Like there's connections that run all the way through that area. So that's why they're probably starting to see all of this hyped up activity in that New York, New Jersey area with these drones and everything, okay? It's because of that base, that underground base that's under Cape May, New Jersey, that extends from New York, New Jersey, probably all the way down to DC. In my dream, it didn't say that. I'm kind of just adding that. But you can go back and look at the dream. I think I read when they destroyed my first page. When I put this page up, I believe I was able to save that dream, and I re-uploaded it to this page, and where it talks about it, the genetic experiments and different things that are going on that I saw in that dream. And so, I don't know, for some reason, I just think that it's possible that all of these mysterious drones are connected to, those two things are connected. One, to the impending war that's going to break out in the United States, starting very soon, probably within the next 30 days, maybe sooner. I mean, you have remote viewers that talk about pretty soon war starting in the United States. I don't know if you have to wait for feedback. You have to wait for that to actually start, for that to be official, to make that official and get the feedback. But the remote viewers, it's funny, they talked about an impending war breaking out in the United States. I know for that dream I had that there's, those underground bases there in that area, New Jersey, New York, in that northeast corridor. And then, so you got these drones and all, and you got everything going on there. And so it's definitely a hot spot, and somewhere that, based on what the remote viewer said, the dream I had, and the drones, and everything going on, I would say that it's a hot spot. That's probably where the shit is going to start first. Like, you're going to see a lot of activity, if this is what I think it is, it's going to break out in the northeast corridor. It's going to be one of the main areas that things are going to break out. Like, they're going to go at, for some reason, the northeast corridor first. And that makes sense because, for instance, if you have like subs, like for instance, nuclear sub, the Russians, well, we already know they park nuclear subs off the coast of Florida. And so it would be very easy for them to come off the northeast coast, come up the coast of Florida, or right off the coast of Florida, in Cuba and places where they have bases, with these subs, etc., and launch hypersonic missiles right up into the whole northeast corridor within seconds. Within minutes. Right? You got Florida. They would be able to hit Florida, New York, New Jersey, Washington, Baltimore, Atlanta, New York, etc. Right? So it just makes sense that's probably going to be one of the first places that gets hit. That they're going to go into that area. And I don't think that that's the bad news. The good news is I don't think it's going to be nuclear. I think it's going to be conventional, because these new hypersonics they have, the first strike they did was a conventional strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. And so I think they may initially go conventional, and then they're going to, I think the U.S. in response, because they can't match them conventionally in missile warfare, they may go nuclear, causing everything to go nuclear. So that's the breakdown, right? I kind of went further into it than I wanted to, but I think you had to hash it out. I wanted to hash everything out. But yeah, those drones are not a threat. He said, "Oh, the drones are not a threat." You're right, but the drones are responding to a threat. And that's what you have to understand. That's what you have to be concerned about. So, why are they there? Right? I mean, you're not gonna be attacked by, drones, obviously, right? You're gonna be attacked by hypersonic missiles. And so it makes sense that the drones, they're probably testing them to say, okay, maybe we can't go, once you get these strikes going on, certain areas will be so destroyed, they won't be able to go into these areas. So they'll be using drones and different things to get into the areas to kind of assess, do damage assessments, to see if people are still alive, etc., what kind of damage. Obviously, the safest way to do that, if you don't have a lot of manpower, is drones, where you can fly 50, 100 drones in the areas with cameras and different things to see what's going on, and to assess, damage and what you're gonna do. So yeah, so that's. I'm not gonna make this too much longer. I think I said everything I wanted to say, but I'm gonna make another video, a vlog. I want to talk about a couple other things. But this drone thing. I wanted to kind of go over that, because you see a lot of people making videos and talking about it, and I don't think they're really understanding what's going on, right? Like, they try to be all spooky and mysterious and shit, right? But it's nothing really spooky or mysterious about it. You're going to fucking war. Get used to it. You understand? Like, there's nothing spooky or mysterious about it. There's no aliens involved and none of that shit. The only thing involved is going to be hypersonic missiles on your ass. You see? That's what's going to be involved. And, and so the media and different people, they think shit is a joke. In La La Land, everything is a joke. Everything is, little green men, or ha ha ha, ki, right? It's not a joke. I mean, that's why they're not telling you anything. That's why they're just like, oh yeah, it's not a threat. You're right, it's not. Those drones aren't a threat. They're there because of the impending danger that, that you're facing, that nobody wants to talk about. So, but that's all I got on that for now. I'll be back. I'll be back soon.